Chicken really comes to life with the right sauce. It brings out everything that we love about it. So here are 4 of my favourite sauces that I've served over my 20-year career. There's everything from rich and creamy to light and tangy. These are the 4 chicken sauces everyone should know. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. So I'm going to start with what I think is the easiest of the 4 sauces in this video. It's a simple 4-ingredient sauce that comes together in a few minutes. But people are scared to make this sauce because it has a reputation of being difficult or unpredictable. So I'll show you the process I use, which gives me success every time. It starts with 120 ml of a dry white wine and 25 ml of white wine vinegar into a saucepan over a medium heat. Whilst I'm waiting for that to come to a simmer, I can finely dice my shallot. There are a few different techniques to finely dice things like onions and shallots. I do it like this, and once I've got a fine dice like this, I can place it into the simmering saucepan. I'm going to let that pan simmer and reduce until I only have around a dessert spoon or 2 of liquid left in the bottom. This should only take a few minutes. This process is concentrating the flavour of the wine, taking the harsh edge off of the vinegar, and softening the shallots. So there's a few things happening. Once it looks something like this, I'm ready for the next step. I'm turning the heat down as low as it can go on this medium-sized burner. And here I have 200 grams of cubed butter. Crucially, it's fridge cold. I'm going to drop those cubes into the pan 1 or 2 at a time whilst I'm whisking. It's at this point in the recipe where a lot of people tend to start panicking, because this is when the sauce can go wrong and split. But I've never had this sauce go wrong on me because I follow 3 important steps, which are using cubed butter that's fridge cold, adding the butter gradually like this, and the last step is once the majority of the butter has melted, I turn the heat off and continue whisking to gradually melt the rest of the butter. Then taste for seasoning and serve it immediately. This sauce is so light and delicate, and it has this fantastic yellow colour. It goes great with chicken, but also with white fish, prawns, even some simple boiled potatoes. It's rich, but it feels light, which is probably quite dangerous. I mean, it's butter, white wine, and shallots. It can't be bad. The next sauce is also super versatile, and it comes together very easily. So, small saucepan over a low heat. I'm going in with a small knob of butter, at I guess 15 or 20 grams. Once the butter is foaming, I'm going in with 1 finely diced clove of garlic. I'm going to gently cook that in the butter for around 30 seconds. After that, I'm going straight in with 50 ml of white wine. If you don't want to use wine, but you want to make a classic French sauce like this, then skip this step and add a few drops of lemon juice right at the end once the sauce is done. You're just looking to bring a little acidity to the sauce, and this just helps to bring all the other flavours to life. Once I have around half of the wine I started with, I'm going in with 100 ml of chicken stock and bringing that up to a boil, then simmering for 2 or 3 minutes. Next I'm going in with 150 ml of double cream. In the UK, this is cream with a 40% fat content. At a minimum, you want to use something with 30% fat, otherwise your sauce is at risk of splitting. I'm following the cream with a dessert spoon of Dijon mustard and a dessert spoon of whole grain mustard. Then I'm continuing to reduce the sauce over a medium to low heat, so it's just ticking over gently like this. I'll know when this sauce is ready when it holds a line on the back of a spoon like this. Now I can taste for seasoning and adjust it if needed. This one came together in a matter of minutes with a few off-the-shelf ingredients. Like I said earlier, if you don't want to use wine, then use some lemon juice right at the end when you do the seasoning step. Even a dash of a good light vinegar will also work well. You could serve this with pork, sausages, any cut of chicken, or even some turkey. Sticking with the French theme, here's one that you may not have heard of before. I like this recipe because it comes together in a completely different way to most sauces. It gets cooked entirely in the oven. So it's a great option if you're already cooking something in your oven. So here I've got 3 red peppers, 1 medium-sized shallot, and 2 cloves of garlic. Both the shallot and the garlic are whole with the skins on. So quite literally, no prep to get this sauce started. I'm putting that into my oven set at 180°, and I'm going to check on it after around 15 minutes. 15 minutes later, and I'm giving everything a move around. I'm going to go back in for another 5 to 10 minutes. I just want the peppers to be a little more roasted. 8 minutes later, and I'm ready. I've got blistered skin all over my peppers. My shallots and garlic are fully softened. I'm going to place everything into a bowl to cool down, but more importantly, to sweat for 5 or so minutes, and this is going to make the peppers very easy to peel. Right, so 5 or so minutes later, let's get these peppers peeled. There are lots of ways to do this, so I'll show you my way. First, I cut the pepper in half through the stem, and then I just cut out where the seeds are attached. Then I just trim out any large bits of the white pith from the inside. And if I roasted these peppers well enough, the skin should literally just peel away. So, for me, the two most important things to make this as easy as possible is the pepper being well roasted, but not over roasted, and sweating them for at least 5 minutes. Then the same with the shallots and garlic. I'm just removing the skin and any dry looking bits. One of my cloves of garlic did get a bit over roasted, but I think I'll just get away with this. So everything into a blender, or like me, a high-sided container, and I'm just going to blend this for a few minutes until I have a smooth sauce. Once I have a texture that looks silky smooth like this, I can go in with around 100 ml of chicken stock. I want to point out that this is a hot chicken stock. A couple of tablespoons of cream, this could also be something like creme fraiche, and I'm just going to blend all of that together. By using hot chicken stock, I'm maintaining the temperature of this sauce, so I can serve it to my plate straight away without having to reheat it, and it helps if the cream is also not straight out of the fridge. In the end, I'm giving it a taste, it needs some salt, and I'm going to give it a little kick with some cayenne pepper. That's a simple red pepper sauce that you can pull together whilst roasting some other things in your oven. This is a great one to have in your toolkit. In restaurants, I would now strain this through a chinois, otherwise known as a fine mesh strainer, but at home, I really don't think it's necessary unless you want a super smooth sauce. It feels alive, it's very bright, almost a little bit fruity. The chicken stock gives it more of a savoury edge and just makes it feel a bit more like a sauce. It's really nice. Really easy and really nice. I like that one. The next sauce is on the complete other end of the scale. But just before that, a quick word from today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you're building a business around your knowledge, let Squarespace help you turn that expertise into income. With Squarespace, you can easily showcase your skills through video. Whether it's online courses, exclusive tutorials, or full-blown workshops, upload and organize your videos, create a sleek library, and even add a paywall to monetize your content directly on your site. No third-party platforms, no hassle, just you, your content, and your audience. And when it comes to getting discovered, Squarespace has that covered too. Every website is optimized with built-in SEO tools. So more of your ideal clients can actually find you online. Whether you're teaching, coaching, or consulting, Squarespace helps you show up, stand out, and get paid all in one place. Check out squarespace.com/Ben Goshawk to save 10% off of your first purchase of a website or a domain using the code Ben Goshawk. Let's get back to the sauces. This is a very classic French sauce. I've just made a few tweaks to the method to make the process a little bit more straightforward. First, I'm going in with 40 grams of butter. Once that's foaming, in with 6 finely sliced chestnut mushrooms. To keep these mushrooms with a nice texture, I've sliced them quite thin. I like to do this by completely removing the stalk, cutting the mushroom in half, spinning it 90 degrees, and cutting across that. This gives me a pretty consistent shape and size without too much hassle. So, my mushrooms have been cooking for 2 or 3 minutes over a medium heat. I'm not really looking to get any serious colour here. I'm just looking to soften the mushrooms and start the cooking process. Next, I'm going in with 25 grams of plain flour, and I'm going to cook that over a low heat for 30 seconds to a minute. This will just want to clump together, so I'm being patient with it and giving the flour some time to absorb and cook out a little. Next, I'm going in with 400 ml of chicken stock, but to prevent getting lumps, I'm doing this in stages. So I'm starting off with just a dash, stirring that in until I have a thick, smooth, pasty consistency. Then I can follow with the rest of the stock in 2 or 3 more stages. It also helps to speed up the process if the stock is hot. Once all the stock's in, I'm just simmering the sauce for around 10 minutes, and this is going to develop the flavours and fully cook out the flour. Next, I'm going in with 80 ml of double cream, and I'll continue to cook that until I'm happy with the consistency. So some of you guys might be wondering about the whole holding the line thing and what it exactly means. So when you run your finger through it, you look at the top line, and you see how that's got some drips coming off of it. It's not holding that perfect line. So that sauce there is just not holding the line. So I got about another 30 seconds of cooking on that. It's a tiny touch of salt, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and then for freshness, going with a drop of lemon juice and some freshly cut chives. That's a sauce supreme with the addition of some chives to just give it some freshness and vibrance. If you enjoyed this video today, then I'm sure you'll like this one as well, so go check it out next.